Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another gear raffle and review. Guys, today we're going to take a look at the Solplex tent from Zpacks. Let's get right into it. Oh no, I have no coffee. Oh. And before I get into the review, guys, I just want to thank all the patrons for helping put these gear reviews together. And thanks for being patient with Sharon and I just having our second child. We've been a little bit, we've called it a babecation. We've kind of just stepped back from everything for a little bit and just focused on family. So now I'm going to get right back into these reviews. We've got like 6 different things to review. I'm going to try to get them out there quickly for you guys. And if you guys are new to the gear raffle and review, head on over to the Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month you can get 1 entry in every single gear raffle that I do. Alright guys, the Solplex from Zpacks. Now, my first thoughts when I got this tent, when I arrived in the box, I thought, oh my gosh, they forgot something. It was so light. I thought the box was empty. It is amazing how light this tent is. But I will say, in my opinion, that's about where I stopped being amazed. And I know I'm probably going to get some hate for that, but really, I believe that this tent, and we'll get into some of the specifics and stuff, but I really believe that this tent is suited for ultra light backpacking. And like I've said before in some of my videos, I think there's a difference between, camping, backpacking, and then trying to lighten your load while backpacking to be more comfortable. And then there's a giant leap to this very ultralight backpacking. And from my experience with it, you're really stripping away all of the comfort. This tent really has no bells and whistles, nothing extra to it. It is bare bones so that it can be as light as possible. 15.5 ounces for the tent, that's under a pound, and then with the upgraded tent poles you're looking at another 9 ounces. But if you're running with just your trekking poles, you're going to get away with less than a pound for your tent. Yeah, you're going to have to throw in your own tent stakes or buy tent stakes from their website, so that'll be a little bit of extra weight, but that is super light. As far as room goes, this tent is just tiny. There's just enough room for you to sit in. I think it would accept a tall person too. If you're 6 foot or better, you'd still fit in the tent, but you're not going to have a whole lot of room for anything else. If you're a smaller person, you may be able to put your pack at your feet. You don't have a whole lot of room under any kind of the rain fly or the outer layer for any of your gear. There's very little. There is some spots where you may be able to snake some gear in, but it's not a roomy tent at all. Now, they do have it set up to be set up with your trekking poles, and I should be plugging in some video. And first off, if you're getting this tent, go to, when you're on the Zpacks webpage, you should be able to find a link to where they set it up. You're going to want to watch that. This is not the most intuitive tent to set up. Instructions. I believe that over time you could set it up better, and with practice everything gets easier and you become faster and more comfortable with the setup. I believe that the directions that come with the tent are lacking a little bit, and I had kind of a difficult time going back and forth and getting the tent set up. The video that they do have is fantastic. You watch that, you'll have a lot better idea how to set up the tent. With this tent, I also got their upgrade to allow it to be a freestanding tent. So the tent can be set up with trekking poles, which I did and I really liked. And then also the freestanding upgrade. So whoever wins this tent will be getting both. Now, I liked it probably a little better once I figured out how to set it up with the freestanding poles, because for me, I'm looking to start to maybe get away from carrying trekking poles, or at least getting away from carrying 2 trekking poles. So having the freestanding poles, and it also takes a little bit of the need away from having tent stakes, which leads me to one of my big beefs with this tent is when I got it sent to me, it didn't have any tent stakes. Which I was blown away by. Like I said, I picked up the box and I thought, this box is really light. Well, it didn't have any tent stakes in it. Not that the tent stakes would be very heavy, but it just didn't make any sense. Now, I've looked on the website, and it's not like they hid it from you. When you buy the tents from Zpacks, they do not come with tent stakes. Now, this is just going to be a personal pet peeve of mine, but I don't believe that they should ever sell a tent that doesn't come with tent stakes, especially a tent that without the freestanding poles and using trekking poles, this tent requires tent stakes. This does no good without tent stakes, and they sent it to me without them. I know it's in the description. It says that you have to buy tent stakes. But I mean, if you're selling a product, you'd think that you would sell everything involved, or like everything needed in that product. I know they offer a lot of different styles of tent stakes, so maybe when you buy this tent, you should give people the option. And I know people are gonna hate this, that I'm making such a fuss out of not coming with tent stakes, but I never even second guessed it. I thought when I ordered it, I mean, I didn't look that much through it. Someone wanted me to do a review of it, one of the patrons, so I thought, hey, we're gonna do it. I bought it, it got here. I just expected it to have stakes. So if you're ordering, make sure you get 10 stakes with it. This tent is super, super light, and like I've said earlier, that is the benefit to getting this tent. And only should you get this tent if you are looking for something that's that light, because it also it tends to be harder to set up, in my opinion. Well, it was a little windy the day that I set it up, and it was just kind of hard to control and set up. Now with time, like I said, I'm sure you would get better at it. And I'm sure that the material is rock solid. I didn't get a chance to actually take it out and go camping with it. I've been really busy, so I got it just to set it up in a first glance. But for me, it's a little worrisome how thin and how lightweight the tent is. So I guess it makes me question durability in the long haul, but I've done some research. Most everything that I've read or videos that I've watched, people are saying these tents really do last, which surprises me a little bit, because looking at it, man, there's really nothing to it. Though this tent doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, the research that I've done, people say it performs very well. Now, like I said, it performs very well because someone that is going to want this tent is going to be a performance hiker, someone that wants to hike lots of miles and be very, very light. If you're out there as more of a casual hiker, or even a thru hiker, I'm not saying that thru hikers have to be ultralight. I was not ultralight on the trail. You can get away with a little extra weight. Your body will get accustomed to it and get used to it, and you can start to include a little bit more of those comfort items, or a more comfortable tent with a little bit more room. But if you're looking for performance, from what I've done, from what I've seen, and from what I've watched in reviews and stuff, this tent really performs well. It's got a great design for airflow, and it sets up fairly well. Small footprint. I mean, I can't say a whole lot bad about it for what it is intended to be used for. I just don't think that this tent is going to fit most people's hiking styles. This is going to be for those those few elite hikers that want to be super, super light. Lastly, guys, before I raffle this off, let's talk price. The tent itself that you're going to set up with your trekking poles without tent stakes is $555 for this, which I believe to be super expensive. And that's one of the downfalls, I think, to the Zpacks line, is you're paying for less. And for me, that just doesn't make sense. When your body can get accustomed to carrying a little bit extra weight, for me, and like I said, this is a personal thing, these reviews are all my opinion, that's too expensive for a pack that just offers to be super light. You pay an extra $99, $100 for these very light tent poles. So to make it a freestanding tent without tent stakes, it's going to cost you $654 for the tent freestanding. That is a big price tag. But for those of you out there that this is exactly what you're looking for, and you're wanting to be super ultralight, they should have something like that. Super ultralight, and then ultralight, and then normal people. But if you want to be super ultralight, this tent may fit right into what you want. Looking for very small, very minimal, very light, and super expensive. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the raffle. Drum roll, please. And the winner of the Solplex Zpacks Ultralight tent is Elena Kennedy. Congratulations, Elena. You've just won yourself a $650 tent from Zpacks. And that's my review of the Solplex tent from Zpacks. Congratulations to Elena Kennedy for winning the tent, and I hope that you guys have found some of the information helpful in deciding on what tent you guys want to use on your hike or your through hike. And let's open up a discussion in the comment section below for chat about this ultralight. Is it worth the money to buy the tent that weighs nearly nothing? We got a lot more raffles coming up. Hopefully we can jam in a few more in December before the holidays. If not, in the first of the year is going to be full of raffles. So thanks to all you patrons out there. And remember, guys, these reviews are just my opinion. And if you don't like it, you can go take a hike. Bye-bye. The tent does not come with stakes. Let me repeat that. This tent that needs stakes does not come with stakes. I like it, I dig it, I want more of it.